Hi everyone, Keith Zuckerberg Farms. It is now mid-October, which for us, first frost and our first freeze. So, I'm scrambling around the farm right now, trying not to blind you all with the sun there. There we go. And finding all of my plastic for my end walls of my greenhouses and getting ready to cover up everything and getting ready for this first freeze, and which will also be our first frost. We're looking at 28 degrees. So let me kind of talk you through the process and show you what I'm doing and why I'm actually scrambling this year a little bit more than I usually do. So let me show you. Now the reason I'm actually moving around, I'd say a little bit more quickly right now than I usually do, because usually we'll have a frost about this time and then another frost, and then we'll start to get some freezing temperatures. This year on the other hand, it's been like, heck, it was 94 degrees 2 days ago. And we've had a couple of cool nights, but not that many in between. So we've really had no really hardening off time for any of our fall winter type produce out here. Not super worried about it, especially for the stuff that's like in the greenhouses, because we've got enough thermal heat mass underneath here that these might barely freeze above the ground level, but it's not going to be like a full killing type frost. What I'm worried about is the shock of going from here to here that quickly. So I'm not going to go crazy on it. But what I want to do, get my end wall dropped down there. I've already got this end wall put on here. I need to put my door back on, because the one thing I neglected to do this year was, I noticed it when I was putting it on there. I've got all these holes. That's where the hinges go. I want the hinges on there first so I can put the plastic over it. Last time I actually had, when I built it, I already had the plastic on, so it was going through here, so I couldn't open it up in the summer. Same thing over here on the high tunnel as well. We need to got that end wall on. I'll shut that damper up there. Need to get this end wall on. Side actuator is going to run up and down just fine. Tomato house is basically just going to be a ditch effort, because when it gets to 28 in these things, even clear up here, unless I'm running a heater, they're going to be toast. I'm already aware of this. I already know this, but I'll put it on. I'll put this end wall on. There's my doors up top there. That's where I store them, so they're always here. Side actuator controllers, they're all hanging out here. I'm not gonna bother to hook them up. One thing I do want to be very thoughtful about is my irrigation headers. So I need to get all of these turned off, go open my drain line, and then open them all up, get the water to flow out of these top little heads right here where the draws are, and get all of my timers out. I've lost more timers this year than I ever have in the past. And I'm really considering switching to a full farm type irrigation system, but that'll be over this winter. But for now, I just need to save what I got. I need to get these walls on here and get going. But first, don't forget to head over to arkenbergfarms.com. Scroll down to the bottom, Mark Garden Farm School courses are there, along with the digital tools and training, a bunch of cool spreadsheets, a bunch of other stuff to check out. We've got the Mark Garden Farm School courses open. Check it out, enroll today, and learn how to do what we do here on the farm. So stacking my door sections back in, relatively easy. Drill driver and a screw gun. And we have all of the holes already here, so we just have to get them in here, get them set. Each of them quite a few screws in them. And we'll go ahead and put them all back in. But it's basically getting everything to line back up where it was originally. Stack the bottom section, because we have the Dutch doors that's automated open and close. We'll stack the top section. But we're not going to focus on the automation right now, because we're just trying to seal it up. We're going to have great temperatures for now. Probably another, looks like good 2 or 3 weeks before we have any more drops. So at this point, we're just trying to get through this first one so the crops have a chance to really harden off. So after that, we'll leave these things open. I just don't want a 28 degree freeze, which is 4 degrees below freezing, to happen when these have never experienced any cooler temperatures than about 45. The only time I've lost virtually all of my winter production was a time very similar to this about 3 or 4 years ago. And we went from, same thing, like 80, 90s, nothing below 40, and all of a sudden it went for 5 days below zero, blowing wind from the north the whole time, and everything was gone on the farm. Since that time, I've never really had that happen, but better be safe than sorry. Just one night, we'll just kind of get it tacked back together. Now, my door took more damage than I thought from last year. I completely forgot about this. But for now, I'm just going to get out the stapler, staple this up, maybe use some batten tape or like pieces of cardboard or something to staple through, just to kind of hold it in place. Again, we're not looking for a complete and total fix of the farm right now. We're just trying to button things down for the time being. The next part is just running our wiggle wire back in the track, get our plastic secured. And ideally you want to do this when it's about 60 degrees outside. That seems to hold a lot better. But when you got to get it on, you just got to get it on. Now the reason I put the doors on before I put the plastic was so I could actually take the wiggle wire and skip over the hinges here and then just continue down on the other side. That way they're behind the plastic, so next spring when I want to open up this side, I can just open it up. Continue tacking this down and then start moving around a little bit more. Now one very, very handy thing to do is when you take your old end walls down, number one, put your wiggle wire back up in a place where you can easily find it, which would be back in the tracks just enough to hold it. Mark your pieces of plastic. That way you know where they go when you get them back out. And then you can just very easily pin one side in place, move to the other side, move your track, and then pin that in place. And then you can simply work your way across in between the 2 points. Top's always first. Make sure we're nice and straight and we're following our existing lines. And then we'll work from the bottom up, so the bottom's sealed. If I've got any shorter pieces, they're up at the top, or in this case, I won't even use them up top because these plastic coated ones go about 10 foot. They're a little short, but not much more. I'm gonna continue getting these set, getting the high tunnels wrapped up for tonight. And then tomorrow before the actual frost, we're gonna go frost blanket out in the field. See how that goes. It's supposed to be windier than heck, so it could be fun. It probably will be fun. So we'll catch you then. So now into day 2 in preparations for our first frost and our first hard freeze down to 28 degrees. So what a world difference it makes up here. Got all the tunnel end walls on. Got my big frost blanket behind me here, pulling on the cart. We're heading out to the field to go put that down. You can see the temperature's already starting to drop out here. See how tight the poly is on top of the tunnel, where it actually rings through. That's what happens when you get it on at 60 degrees and get a nice pull on it. Also, daikons, black Nero Spanish radishes, watermelon radishes. 3 rows out. We've got about 12 to 1,500 pounds of the storage radishes into the walk-in, out of the ground. Somewhat worried about those because they sometimes don't store right if they get froze hard. It's hard to tell what we're going to get out of this one. The biggest fear, like I've been saying, is that we have not had any real time for any of this stuff to harden off with the winter temperatures. Before we get this freeze, it's going to be 4 degrees below the freezing point. So that's where I'm taking the extra precautions. In doing this, after tonight, we're going to be good for quite a while. I can even probably drop my end walls on some of these greenhouses, because like this is full of carrots and beets. No problem, it's going to make it through. Tomato greenhouse down here, gone. Cucumber greenhouse, going to be gone. We'll go check it out in the morning. We'll roll this baby out. And, oh yeah, shut off all of my water, which we've got a main header at the front of the farm, open up my spigots because they're not frost proof, and take my timers off and take them inside. They'll freeze and they will be ruined overnight. Now the only good thing about getting this early frost or freeze, it's gone completely calm out here, and that is the reason why we're getting the frost and the freeze. It's because there's no air movement, there's no clouds over top. I do store all of my frost blanket, insect netting, and shade cloth, and trash cans of various sizes, labeled, which I always hope I label them correctly. So when I need them, I can find them. I just paid attention that this is 90 foot, which is the length of this bed. So I'm gonna drag it out, take 2 bags with me, so I don't have to make the secondary trip, but it should be enough to get it pulled over the top. So we got gathering up our timers, going and covering our plant starts, putting that one piece back over the window. We pretty much have this secure. So I'll see you in the morning when it's frosty. Usually get some cool pictures in too. Well, 7:30 in the morning, it's definitely frosty out here. It's about 29 degrees. We'll go head out to the field. Now I knew it was gonna get this cold because it always seems to get a little bit colder here. I think it's because I'm so much out in the open. Clear, calm, but as you can see down here, rock hard, frozen solid. Watermelon radishes, they're not supposed to get a hard frost, so the ends are probably gone, but I've got everything else covered up. Hopefully they didn't freeze too bad. Have enough heat still in the soil because it has been so warm. Like I said on Sunday, or no, Saturday, it was like 94 degrees. We set a record. This same way, solid, frosted. Cover crop, might make it, kind of pushing it. Those are cowpeas. They do like to be cold, but not really that cold. Again, not concerned at all about beets and the carrots. And then the tomato greenhouse. This will be the real kicker. See what the temperature is in here. And I'll know really quickly. Well, we might have made it in here. I don't believe it froze inside of here. So, if that's the case, we've got at least 2, maybe 3 more weeks of tomatoes going out of this thing. As wild and crazy as they look, they'll still keep pumping as long as they don't freeze solid. And like I said, went through these precautions because it's been so warm lately and we had that quick dip. We didn't get that nice gradual cool down to really harden stuff off. I wasn't too upset if those disappeared. Same thing with the cucumbers. We picked everything hard just to make sure. But hey, they keep going. You might actually have tomatoes and cucumbers to the end of the market season. I'll come back this afternoon, wrap this up, and look in the rest of these and kind of see what it looks like. We made it through this first frost and freeze pretty much unharmed with a little bit of protective measures that I took here on the farm. Again, if this had only been down to 30 and we'd had a couple frosts and things like that beforehand, I would not even bother covering any of this stuff out here. These are all greens. They're hardy. They work great in the cold, but they have to be hardened off. Rather surprised the tomatoes actually made it. And I believe that is because we only dipped down below freezing for about 2.5, 3 hours. And the amount of warmth still in the soil there kept that thing plenty warm. I was wrong about one thing. Cowpea cover crop, gone. It's dead. It's weeped down. So, all in all, not bad. Digging it. A couple more weeks, frost free. We pump it basically till the end of our farmers market season, heading into the winter time, doing online store deliveries, all the fun stuff that Martin gardeners do. So, as always, hope you all liked what you saw today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all. Have a good day.